I am Claudia Procula, wife of Pontius Pilate. Our life here in Jerusalem has not been easy. Though my husband generally does not discuss politics with me, I often hear him complain about how difficult these Jewish subjects are. I know his position in Palestine is precarious, and his hands are often tied. The trial of Jesus the Nazarene, however, stands out from all the others, and I still fear that the consequences will someday fall on our household. On what I have come to think of as that morning, I overslept. Pontius customarily arises at 6 o'clock, and I like to be up an hour earlier to see that the servants have his breakfast ready and that all is in order. Oh, but that night was different. My sleep had been troubled by terrible dreams, and I woke with an overwhelming feeling of dread. I can't remember the details. They dissipated even as I struggled to awake. I woke up with a strong sense that my husband would have dealings with a man claiming to be the Jewish Messiah. What did stand out was the feeling of this man's innocence and the unmerited cruelty of his prosecutors. Above all, I knew in my heart that if Pontius had anything to do with that injustice, it would somehow be disastrous for us. I had heard that the gods speak to mortals in dreams. I trembled, wondering if this was nothing less than a divine warning. I dressed quickly and hurried to warn Pontius, but he'd already been called to the judgment seat. This was unusual. I rushed toward the praetorium, but then realized just how unseemly an interruption would be. Respectable Roman matrons do not dabble in politics, well, at least not in public. Besides, who would take seriously the warning of a woman's dream? Still, I knew my voice needed to be heard. Collecting myself, covering my head to hide my identity as best I could, I snuck up on Pontius when my odds seemed best to be unnoticed. Without a word of greeting, I whispered the urgent message to my husband. "Leave that man alone. He is innocent." I left my husband to hide from public eyes, finding a place in the shadows, but still able to watch at a distance at the travesty of justice unfold. Dread and despair welled up within me. I noticed my husband's servants and some of the nearby soldiers whispering, laughing, shaking their heads. I should have known that my message to Pontius would not remain a secret. But my embarrassment and Pilate's mattered little to me at this moment. An innocent and holy man was being rushed to a horrifying death, and I did what I could to stop it. But I was helpless to arrest this man's judgment. Released from my sense of duty, I turned introspective. What Roman god would have cared enough about this Galilean rebel to send such a dream to me? Might it have been the Jewish god Yahweh? If so, why would the dream come to me, a woman with no power, instead of my husband? And why would Jesus' God give me such a dream if I had no real power to stop the Sanhedrin's plot or Pontius's compromise? Hours later, tossing and turning on my bed, new questions surfaced from a deeper place. What if God was telling me his son was innocent as evidence for the world to consider after the sacrifice of his innocent son? I could not know that night, but when I heard of Jesus' irrefutable empty tomb, I smiled. This woman's ignored dream and my husband's condemnation of the prisoner were indeed no accident.